Hi, this is the Swami. I'm back here with Week 7 of the NFL. We're pretty excited about that. The Week 6 was our first attempt at making picks for the year 2020, and it was the first time. We usually go to Vegas every year in September. Unfortunately, due to the circumstances beyond our control, we couldn't do that this year. So now we decided we're just going to have some fun. So you may be wondering, how exactly did the Swami do Week 6 with his first picks? Well, Steelers crushed the Browns, and Minkah Fitzpatrick, the Swami's pick to be the star of the game, had a pick 6 early in the game. So that was pretty nice. The Titans did cover against the Texans, even though it was a 42-36 game. And, of course, Derrick Henry had a crazy, crazy, crazy game. The Lions won. How about that one, huh? Swami, they covered. That was 3-0. The Cardinals just crushed the Cowboys. Kyler Murray had a good game, 4-0. But the Eagles ended up scoring that late touchdown. So the Swami ended up 4-1. So not bad against the spread. If they hadn't scored that last touchdown, the Swami would have gone 5-0. So you can't have it all. So we're back here. We're here for the new games as before. You'll see the scroll on the bottom. That scroll has the 5 games and the spread. That way we use FanDuel for the spreads as of yesterday. Of course, they could change by the time Friday or Saturday comes on. But these were the spreads on FanDuel last evening. And we picked 5 games. Those are not our picks. Those are the games, but not the choice. For example, it says Cowboys at Washington plus 1.5. It does not mean I necessarily picked the Cowboys or Washington in particular. So, hey, Chris, how you doing, buddy? The Swami, this is a weekly thing. I appreciate you stopping in. Place those bets, make your fortune, because that's what the Swami's here for. So let's get going with those picks and start out with the Cowboys minus 1.5 over the Washington football team. I'm sure you guys don't need me to tell you that Washington is not a very good team. They've got one win this year. It was against the Eagles. Yet they're only one game out of first place. They have no idea who their quarterback is. They don't know what's happening. Cowboys had a rough game last week. Andy Dalton had a rough game last week. But I do believe that Dalton will come back strong, and he'll be the star of the game for the Cowboys. Zeke won't fumble the ball twice. That'll help a little bit at the same time. But look for a big game out of Andy Dalton in his second start, and look for the Cowboys to easily, and I mean easily, beat out the Redskins. So, on to number 2. Our second game is the Packers over the Texans, given 3.5. Texans had a good game last week, 36 points. Unfortunately, they gave up 42. But Deshaun Watson is an offensive animal. You got to watch out. He's a beast. But unfortunately, their defense is lacking a little bit. The Packers are on a roll. They're a good team, the Packers. And I think you're going to find them to probably win a lot of games this year. I think they're going to beat the Texans handily. Probably the neighborhood of 27-17 or something along those lines. And without a doubt, I believe Aaron Rodgers will be the star of the game for the Packers. Look for Green Bay to continue winning, and look for the Texans to continue losing. Our next game is the Seahawks, minus 3.5 over the Cardinals. Now, the Seahawks are a really good team with a really good quarterback, really good receivers, and the Cardinals have Kyler Murray, I don't know where Kyler Wilson came from, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, along with some good receivers. I think they're going to score some points, but I think at the end of the day, I think the Seahawks outlast them. As good a game as Kyler Murray had, he didn't really pass very well against the Cowboys, though his legs were working really well. So I'm going to go definitely with the Seahawks, and I think that the player who's going to have the best game is going to be DK Metcalf. I think the receiver for the Seahawks is going to really come through big. It's going to be one of those situations where you are looking for 100 yards plus and probably 2 touchdowns. So count on a win for the Seahawks. I don't think there'll be any problem or any question about that. Our fourth game we're coming down to is going to be the Falcons over the Lions. Now, if you remember, of course, we picked the Lions last week. And who in their right mind is crazy enough to bet on the Falcons? There's rumors Matt Ryan might get traded. Julio Jones might get traded. Depending on the deal, may not be necessarily a bad thing. But it won't happen probably this week. And if it does, we're in trouble. I think that Matt Ryan has another good game. I think the Lions are not a very good team. And I think they're going to outlast the Lions and beat them by more than a field goal. Poor Lions. I mean, it's not the same since they lost Jim Bob Cooter, who had the best name in probably the NFL in the last 3 decades, maybe 4. Some names that remind me of Jim Bob Cooter in the standpoint of being good. If you remember the Browns' Fair Hooker, the Bengals' Booby Clark. Some other names that we just have to love. And of course, let's not forget the first NFL player named Golden Richards of the mid to late 70s Cowboys and Bears. So Jim Bob Cooter goes right along with those guys. So back to the story. With the Falcons, I'm looking at Calvin Ridley to have another big game. He's had a pretty solid season this year, despite the team imploding. And I think he's going to have another big game. Without a doubt, Calvin Ridley is a player, no doubt about that. And I think he's going to make himself well known into the Lions this week, without a doubt. Now, moving on, we have our 5th and final game of the week that we picked. And that final game of the week is the Rams, minus 5.5 over the Bears. Now, I want to talk about this one for a moment, because this one wasn't as easy a pick as the other ones. Nobody knows what Nick Foles is going to do. He seems, I don't know, one day he's Joe Montana. The next day, he's Billy Joe Tolliver. I don't know. I can't think he's going to keep winning the way he did in Philadelphia. I just can't see it. I think that the Bears are going to realize that he is still Nick Foles at the end of the day. He's a great player to come in when necessary, but he's not the long-term answer. I think this will be the week you really learn that. I think the Rams are going to definitely win the game. I think that Robert Woods is going to have a big game with receptions, maybe a couple touchdowns. I don't see it. I mean, and we say it all the time. And we keep saying, oh, Nick Foles, he's never going to keep it up, and he keeps keeping it up. But I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe Foles gets injured this week. I just can't see it continuing. It's one of those situations where you ride him until you can't ride him any longer. But at the same time, if I was the Bears, I'd be sitting back saying to myself, what do we have in Mitchell Trubisky? Maybe we should be giving him a shot. I don't know. I think it's a mistake. Then again, they're going for it. They're going to try to win right now. They're looking to win right now. They're not looking to win in 2 seasons from now. So Trubisky may not be the answer from that perspective. But that being said, we shall see how this game plays out. The Swami, who is sitting here with a 4-win, 1-loss record, which is an 800 winning percentage. You guys would have won lots and lots of money if you had decided to place your bets. Those of you hearing this in New Jersey, you certainly can place bets. I wish I could, because I'd be my multi-zillionaire right now with all my Swami picks. Just to let you know, the Eagles-Giants game tomorrow, just a side note, not one of my picks, just for conversation. I just have this feeling that it could be closer than people think. People all think that for sure the Cowboys, yeah. Shows you where I'm thinking. That the Giants don't have a chance, but I don't know about that. I have a feeling they may surprise. That being said, I wouldn't bet on them to save my life. I don't think that's a chance. Now, as much as I hate to do this, if I'm going to continue to talk, I need to cough. Excuse me about that, but had to do it. So, personally, I'd be staying away from the Eagles game. I mean, Daniel Jones is a player. He hasn't reached beast status yet, but he's definitely a player. So, it definitely is not a pick. The Steelers-Titans game, I wouldn't go within 20 miles of that game, because as much as I obviously hope the Steelers win the game, and they very well may, Derrick Henry is really, really good. Ryan Tannehill is, I don't know what happened to Ryan Tannehill. He became an actual NFL quarterback. It's amazing if you ask my opinion on that. aside from that, keep in mind, as predicted, Kirk Cousins was horrible last week. As I stated, I would not want him as my starting quarterback. If my starting quarterback got hurt, I might consider him, but I certainly would not go out of my way for him. He is definitely a marginal starting quarterback. Maybe a quarterback number 22 in the league or something along those lines. He's not the kind of guy I'd want to be basing my future on. So, the Swami's picks, one more time. Cowboys, minus 1.5 over Washington. Packers, minus 3.5 over the Texans. The Seahawks, minus 3.5 over the Cardinals. We have the Falcons, minus 3 over the Lions. And lastly, we have the Rams, minus 5.5 over the Bears. So check it out. See if, see how we do. We're 4-1 so far. Love to see another 4-1 or 5-0 performance. And still, so all you guys can start taking the Swami seriously, because it is definitely I've had my success in the past, and I've also had my troubles, but I think this is going to be it. I think the Swami had picked the formula. I thank you so much for watching this. I hope you do well. We'll see you next week. As they say, same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. And guys, have a great day and enjoy your football.